That's all from us today on World Business Express. Please subscribe to get the latest episodes. You can search for World Business Express wherever you get your podcasts, as well, of course, as our sister programs Business Daily and World Business Report. I'm Luke Wilson. Thanks very much for listening.
This is the BBC World Service, with the story of how a battle during the First World War helped shape the history of Ireland.
I'm Jordan Dunbar. I'll be finding out how the Battle of the Somme, fought 110 years ago, still affects daily life in Northern Ireland.
A battle that changed Ireland. Thursday at 8:30 and 19 GMT. At bbc.com from our own correspondent.
Whether it's food, football, or even the accent, Argentina is deeply proud of its Italian heritage. But some Argentinians would now like to take it further and live and work in Italy. In Buenos Aires, we see how they're looking for ways back.
This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station.
Welcome to Outside Source with me, James Reynolds, live from the floor of the BBC's newsroom in central London. We're looking at the aftermath of the earthquake which has hit the island of Kyushu in southern Japan, measured at a magnitude of 7.1. Many people are still trapped inside a Japanese shopping centre after the quake. One witness has reported that the second floor of the shopping centre in Kumamoto collapsed. And reports say that around 20 to 30 shopping centre staff may be missing. But we should stress that at this particular point, that figure has not been confirmed. And I'm looking at pictures posted on our live page, which show around a dozen emergency vehicles floodlighting the area of the Aeon Mall, where there are attempts to find those who may be trapped inside. We'll hear from a resident of the area who knows the shopping centre well and who experienced the earthquake himself. He'll give us the full story.
BBC News with Moira Alderson. Japanese firefighters say many people are trapped inside a shopping centre after a 7.1 magnitude earthquake in the southern prefecture of Kumamoto on Kyushu Island. The public broadcaster NHK says there's been no contact from about 20 to 30 employees. Multiple people are unaccounted for after a chimney collapsed at Nippon Paper Industries factory. Here's Jake Kwan.
It was so strong that even people in South Korea, where I am, felt the tremor. What the government is now doing is assessing the level of damage as well as injuries and possible deaths. They said the power line has been cut. There were reports of fires and collapsed buildings. The police have told the public broadcaster NHK earlier that they have had 4 separate reports of people trapped under the rubble. The Prime Minister Takaichi, she was saying that they have sent an investigation team to assess all the damages, and they have warned the public to keep their eyes on the radio and TV to make sure that they can hear if there's ever an evacuation or take shelter warning.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is meeting Donald Trump at the White House to seek stronger air defences and put greater pressure on Russia to end the war. The talks come as Ukraine intensifies long-range attacks inside Russia. Firefighters in France have described the battle against intense wildfires as a fight between David and Goliath. More than 200,000 people have been forced from their homes in the Gironde region and other parts of the south. The BBC's Gwyn Lauder is there.
The ground is bone dry. There's a lot of vegetation here, and it only takes a small spark for the fire to ignite and spread, meaning the emergency services then have to scramble from one place to the other as these fires ignite. Things have got gradually better over the past few days. I was filming in an evacuation centre in Bordeaux this morning. There were 6,000 people there on Saturday, only 660 by last night, but many people telling me that they were concerned about this yellow heatwave alert that's now in place. We're expecting temperatures could rise over 40 degrees Celsius.
The French football star Zinedine Zidane has been appointed coach of the men's national team. He helped France win the World Cup while playing, and as coach of Real Madrid, he led the team to 3 Champions League wins in a row before stepping down in 2021. Here's the BBC's Pierre-Antoine Denis.
Zidane has been a very successful manager so far, with 3 Champions League titles with Real Madrid, consecutive titles as well. So he is seen obviously as the icon, the best footballer that has ever played for France. So there are loads of expectations around him. He said in his press conference, I was waiting for France, I was waiting for that call-up. I've had many offers from European clubs, I wanted France.
Zidane takes over the French team from Didier Deschamps, who was in the post for 14 years. This is Moira Alderson with the latest world news from the BBC. A Sudanese human rights group says dozens of civilians have been killed in a series of airstrikes across North Kordofan state. The emergency lawyers group, which monitors violence against civilians, says drones hit a water station, a health centre, a school and a vehicle between Friday and Sunday. Nigeria has urged South Africa to do more to protect foreign nationals after a recent wave of anti-immigrant protests left 4 people dead. The Foreign Ministry says a South African delegation in Abuja, led by the International Affairs Minister, promised those responsible would be prosecuted. The man blamed for Saturday's deadly attack on Berlin's Pride Parade is said to have pledged allegiance to the Islamic State group in a video. German investigators say the footage was found on a phone belonging to Abdul Balut. It shows a man they think is him claiming responsibility for the attack in Arabic. The 21-year-old German national of Lebanese descent was shot dead by police on Sunday. Senior German politicians are calling for stricter penalties following this attack. The Federal Interior Minister is Alexander Dobrindt.
Mein Interesse ist daran, dass wir hier gleiche Möglichkeiten.
My aim is for us to create a level playing field here, to ensure with greater certainty that identified dangerous individuals are made significantly less dangerous and that their ability to carry out attacks is significantly restricted. I am putting it in exactly these terms because I also want to make it clear to the public that there are no absolute guarantees.
Keiko Fujimori will be sworn in shortly as Peru's first ever female president, the latest in a series of conservative leaders elected across Latin America. She's promised to fight crime, weak economic growth and political instability. More than 100 relatives of victims of state violence held a vigil in Lima on Monday, rejecting her incoming government. They demanded justice for crimes committed under her father, Alberto Fujimori. BBC News.
You're listening to Outside Source on the BBC World Service, live from our position right here in the heart of the BBC's newsroom in central London. And for several hours now, journalists around me and in our bureaus in Asia have been focusing on the earthquake that has hit the southern Kyushu island of Japan. It has measured 7.1. There are fears that multiple people may have died. Joining me now from Tokyo is journalist James Sims. James, you are obviously in Tokyo, which is 1,000 kilometers away from where the quake happened, but nevertheless, what kind of information are the authorities providing?
Well, it was a very large earthquake, about a 7.1, so it's one of the largest earthquakes in the past, I guess, 10 or 15 years. Obviously, the largest one was in 2011, which killed over 20,000 people. But in the last 10 years, it's one of the largest earthquakes. And so currently, there are about 20 to 30 people that are missing, apparently at a mall in Kumamoto. It looks like there might have been a gas explosion at the mall. And so there's been damage to, I guess, some manufacturing plants and also some collapses of bridges. So I think the thing to remember is about 10 years ago, Kumamoto was also the center of a similar size earthquake, which killed, I think, almost 300 people. So the memories are still fairly raw, I think, from what happened a decade ago. And one of the symbols was